Oh, yeah. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Daily Hi-Fi Podcast. My name is Chana. As you guys know, I'm the Techno Dad, and I'm here with Joe, Mike, and Ron.
What's going on, guys?
Hello, hello.
What is up, everyone?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we got
There
some
it is on the
feedback.
feedback.
That's Michael's fault, I think.
Always does that.
You look guilty right there.
I do.
He's scrambling to touch the button.
I'm about to do it too because
Well, it's crazy because you got to keep two windows open the way this thing works. And so one of them's the live stream and one of them's kind of the behind the scenes. And
there you go. I have to do it
so
too.
if you don't have your volume down on your speakers, you get that double whammy. It's like,
Well, the thing is, you can't go in and mute it because we have to go into our own channel to be able to talk to you guys, right?
Yep.
And so you're not able to turn down the volume because it's not live yet. So you have to wait till it's live.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I hear you.
Anyway, that's my excuse. All right, let me get set up so I can talk to everybody. There we go.
See
Hey,
who is-
Chana, I took your advice. Wireless keyboard and mouse here.
Oh, nice. What's up, everyone? How's everybody doing? What is going on? Hope everybody had a great weekend. Oh, who do we
Pretty
got in
normal.
here? Kanga Empire, Techno Dad. Who's that?
Regular guy audio.
RGA in the house. The Vinyl
R-
Guru is here, ladies and gentlemen.
What's
All
up?
right.
Hey, you know what we got to figure out is how to get the combined chat from all of our
That'd be nice,
channels
man.
all on the screen. That's what
I
we
have
need.
it
Yeah.
here. I have it here on mine. And what's funny is like in StreamYard, I have a little like down arrow by my name. I can actually just type for all of us.
right.
Oh, are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah,
so
watch.
we can all see the live comments.
Look.
We just can't.
Look,
Oh,
it says
wow.
test
Interesting.
on all your things.
Oh, what? You're replying
Wow.
for me. Nice. Thank you. That'd be good.
Yeah. Hello all. And then I can change it obviously just to myself, but I had no idea it did that until.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's
Hey.
awesome.
But I'm just gonna change it to just me. That
So
makes
if you
sense.
haven't noticed, guys, what we're trying to do is stream on all four of our channels at one time.
Yeah.
And so we're still this is our second week of doing that. So there's definitely some things that we're trying to figure out because on our end, like I know because Chana technically he's hosting this one, even though we're streaming it across all four of our platforms. He can
I see all the
comment.
chat.
Yeah, and you can comment and you see all the chats. We can too, but we can't comment.
Mhm.
We can only comment on our own channel. So so if you say something and it doesn't get our attention, yeah.
It'll happen. It'll
That's
happen.
right. That's
We're
right.
trying to figure out a way to make it all work together, but you know.
Hey, you know what I think would be a good idea is maybe we should make some notes of the timestamps. If somebody could take notes or something, so we don't have to do it later.
Oh, yeah.
Of like when we ask a new question. Anyway, just an idea. Anyway,
Joe just volunteered to take notes, guys. That's what I heard.
Joe, the
I'm
secretary.
handling all kinds of stuff over here.
I know it.
Boom. All right.
Got folks from all around the world. Glad to have you guys tonight, man. We'll have some fun.
Yeah, who do we
Yeah,
have in
for
the
sure.
in here? Obviously, we got all kinds of people in here. This is gonna be awesome. So, how you guys doing? First of all, that's most importantly. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling out there? How are you guys feeling?
I thought it was funny today. I needed to start really evaluating those corn walls. And so my wife was like, "What do you need to do?" I'm like, "I just need to blast music for 3 hours in the living room." She's like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty much
That's awesome.
because I usually do that stuff when she's at work and obviously not working, like a lot of people. So it was just kind of funny. And then she needed to work out and needed to be in the living room, so she's just doing exercises with all this loud music. And she looks at me, she's like, "This is pretty loud." It's like, yeah.
That's
All right.
awesome.
Yes, it is.
So that's me. What about you guys? What are you guys up to?
Oh man. You guys go. You guys
Yeah,
go
it took
first.
a lot of people already know this, and I appreciate all the comments on the community page here for NRD. But yeah, Sarah took a fall on her bike, and she hurt herself pretty bad. it was wild. It was a rough week, but she's on the mend. She's doing great, actually. So last week was a little gnarly here with the Bernays, but we're doing okay.
What was our conversation? Watching the kids, that's like the hardest job ever. That's no joke. Whatever job that, you think is hard, watching 3 kids.
Yeah.
In your case,
my wife is a saint, let me tell you. Yeah.
Michael, what have you been up to, man?
And I've been building a projector shelf. Dude, I am like the most least handyman in the world. And so I head up to Lowe's to get all the parts and components. And I just happened to run into a friend of mine that lives here in Plant City. And he said, hey, what you doing?
I'll help you out.
He's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm building a shelf for that projector. He's like, why didn't you call me? I'm like, I'm calling you. And so we went by his house, grabbed some tools, went by Lowe's, took some measurements at the house. So it was cool, man. So
I saw some photos. I saw some photos, and first of all, props for getting that set up.
Yeah, nothing super fancy, but it works good.
Well, it doesn't look like Ron Bernay's work. He gets fancy with the woodwork stuff.
Man. Look at behind him, those red stripy things.
He gets crazy with that. I mean, I don't know if it's on that level, but
mine's just
were you showing your guns, or are you pointing back there? I couldn't tell, Ron.
You guys mean these shells back here?
I still can't tell. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, so you got your projector set up?
Yeah. So we watched. Oh my goodness, what was the movie Extraction? Have y'all seen that?
No.
No.
It's with the Hemingway dude. Yeah, it just came out on Netflix, brand new. Chris Hemsworth. I always forget his last name. Thor, basically, that dude.
Oh yeah,
Helmsworth, whatever.
Dude,
I tell you what, it was pretty cool. It was definitely pretty cool.
Well, very cool. It's hard to tell if you like the projector because you're almost always smiling no matter what.
Hey,
so it's not like I can tell.
The smile's just a little bit bigger.
I just say, you got to look at the eyes. If the eyes get big, man, you're like, yeah. So the eyes are into the.
That's how I know my wife is pissed off. The eyes get real big.
Oh, mercy. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, everybody's feeling okay.
Yeah,
good, man.
You guys out there, you guys feeling okay? You know what the secret is? The secret is to stay busy. That's the secret.
Have you been staying busy, Joseph?
Oh my! I was up till like 9 a.m.
I know. I shot you a message at like noon. I'm like, oh, Joe's gonna get back to me at like 4, like right before the podcast because he was probably up.
Sleepy. Yeah.
9 a.m. Yeah, almost every night. Just working hard.
Yeah, what have you been working on, Joe? What do you got going on?
Oh well, you guys already know. I've kind of like teased it out there that I'm doing this online trade show, first digital trade show that I've even seen, for sure the first one here in the hi-fi industry. And I just it's something brand new, so I want to make sure it's done right. And it's very, very tricky. When it's brand new, there's no model to base it off of, right? And so you're kind of making it up as you go. And so I'll be honest, it's very stressful because I've promised you guys that it's going to be awesome. I'm promising you guys that it's going to be awesome. And so I like to deliver on my promises, right? And if you know me, if you've ever watched any of my videos, when I put time and effort into a video, if I go crazy on it, it's going to look pretty good.
Oh yeah.
It's going to look good. So that's a thing. I want to make sure this looks good. I can tease a little something for you. I'll show you the logo.
Let's check it out.
I don't know if you have that on screen, Chana, but I had my designer come up with the logo. It's going to be called the Hi-Fi Summit.
Getting a little sneak peek, guys.
There you go. It's called the Hi-Fi Summit, and the color scheme he chose here, I told him, you know what? Our demographic is more the younger demographic. 35. I guess 35 is still younger when you're talking about hi-fi.
Yeah, so I'm not young anymore.
Well, 35 to 45, let's just say. You in there?
Yep. Still not young.
Oh, you're
44. Okay,
Michael remembers those days.
Yeah, I'm 44, so I'm okay. I'm still young.
So you wanted to make it look clean, right? So he made it look a little mock-up here. So we wanted to make it look clean and new, but we also wanted it to kind of harken back to like the old school days, like the 70s. Like a lot of these people who are the owners of these companies, they might not be 35 to 45, and so we wanted to appeal to them and let them know, like, hey, remember the heyday of hi-fi in the 70s? You know, we could make that happen again, right?
That's awesome.
So we wanted to kind of do both, look new, exciting, but we wanted to
Fresh.
look old school also. So anyway, that's basically that. Yeah, I've shown you guys how the
we got
website.
we got a deeper sneak peek.
Yes.
It looks sweet, guys.
Yeah, you guys
I
got to
think
look
you
at
guys
the
are really gonna
functionality.
enjoy it.
Yeah. And so right now, if you were to go to the HiFiSummit.com, right now you're just going to see a countdown. So right now we're looking at 59 days till the actual event. It's going to be a 5-day event. 59 days. That's very short period of time, you know, for a trade show. If you've ever been part of a trade show, you know that you know, you start promoting way before that.
Mhm.
So this is a special case right now because, you know, all the stuff that's going on. I decided to make this because a lot of the trade shows are being canceled. And so these companies have new products to promote. What are they going to do? You know, a lot of them don't have great social networks, or, you know, they don't have access to you guys because they're not used to talking to you guys on a regular basis, right? So they, you know, some of them have pretty decent Facebook following, but a lot of times some of these bigger companies don't have a lot of people on YouTube. And so we're going to make it easy for them to show their products. And I would love for all of you guys to be part of it and, you know, spread the word, join. Right now, it says buy tickets. You can't buy tickets yet. I'm thinking maybe in a day or two, that should be open to the public and you'll be able to buy tickets. I'm going to do a early bird special for you guys. And I wanted to just make it as inexpensive as possible, right? And for all the people who have always wanted to go to a trade show but couldn't because it's too far, they didn't want to travel for whatever reason. Well, I want to give you that, as much of that experience as possible, right? As close to
Now's
that
your
experience
chance.
as possible. So there's a few things we cannot do. All right. Here's what the website cannot do. You're not gonna be able to shake hands with some of these people. That's not gonna happen on the website. You know,
Nope.
an audio demo, you can't do an audio demo on a website, but pretty much everything else you can do, you can kind of replicate. And yeah, I've shown it to a few people. I've shown it to some potential competitors, right? So I'm talking about other people who might have been interested in doing something like this.
And they're like, nope, we
and,
ain't doing that.
Yeah, I showed
We'll
them
let you take
what
care of
I'm up to. They're like, all right, never mind. I'm good.
They're like, we'll let you take care of that.
I'll support you in what you're doing. So
Yeah.
that's how it is. That's how it is.
Awesome. Really
Joe's
cool.
got a big vision for this, guys, and this is his heart behind this, and we're just helping, you know. So definitely it's going to be exciting. I shared with Joe kind of off camera that, you know, he's a visionary, and he's a dreamer, but he knows how to make those dreams come true, kind of thing. You know, it's not just like pie in the sky. It'd be great to do this. No, he comes up with an idea and he figures out a way to make it happen. So I'm pretty excited. I know these guys are excited as well. It's gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, we got some crazy things in the works right now. See, the thing is, ideas are one thing, right? A lot of people have ideas. Ideas are cool. You need to have ideas. But the other part of that is executing.
Execution.
And so that's why I've been spending so much time and, like, you know, taking naps in the middle of the day to get the minimal amount of sleep. I'm trying to sacrifice what I can to make this happen at this time. And so execution is where it's really at, and the ability to execute and the willingness to execute. That's where it's at. And so, you know, one of the things I'm excited about is Techno Dad. What are we talking about over here?
Oh man. So the show is what, 5 days? Is that right?
It's gonna be
June
5 days,
26th to 30th. So what makes a good trade show is the after party. And ladies and gentlemen, I will be your after party host every night. Every night we're gonna have some
sick beats, guys.
That's right. I'll be cooking up fresh beats here in the studio, and you know, it's gonna be broadcast to everyone in the rooms. So it's gonna be pretty cool. And we're gonna have like theme nights. You know, you can come dressed up if you like. It's gonna be pretty awesome. I'm pretty stoked about it.
We're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna try it out. See what happens.
That's cool, man. Solomon says, Joe, as someone who has never been to a trade show, I live in Saudi Arabia. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to hopefully experience this, man. That's
Wow.
awesome,
That's
man.
cool.
That's so cool.
You'll be able to experience this. You'll be able to experience this. It's
That
a
is
website.
one of the downfalls to trade shows is that typically, unless you live close, a lot of guys can't make the trip because you've got to have airfare, you've got to have hotel, you got to get transportation, then you got to eat while you're on the road, and while you're there, it all adds up. And so a lot of people are like, man, I'd love to go to this or that. Well, we're bringing it to you. We're bringing it to your laptop. We're bringing it to your home. And man, appreciate that. Great
Yeah, and
comment.
actually, if I know a lot of you guys know how to route your YouTube feed or whatever through your stereo system, because that's what you're gonna definitely want to do.
Crank it up.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna want to bump that.
Crank it up.
Mm-hmm.
We have
Turn
some cool
it
stuff.
up.
I don't know. I'm kind of
Yeah.
hoping that we might have some giveaways or some stuff like that.
Oh, we don't even want to step foot in that realm.
You know what?
I don't think they can handle that.
They can't handle it.
It might be
You don't think-
good though. It might be a good idea. Just might be a good idea. Just throwing that out there, you know.
Well, here's the deal. All right, so let me just kind of explain here. I kind of hinted at it in that video where I was talking about the idea, and it's basically this. A lot of times these companies spend way too if I told you how much these companies spent on traditional trade shows, you'd be like, are you serious? That is a ridiculous amount. And it's crazy. It's crazy how much they spend on these trade shows because they have to ship all their stuff. If they got people manning the room, they got to get all those people there, fly them in, they got to put them in hotels.
Feed
Those people
them.
gotta eat. So they're not going to be eating some cheap stuff, right? So they go out to nice dinners. And so that gets very expensive. And so if you saw the bill at the end of the day, you'd be amazed. And so I'm telling these companies, I'm talking to all the biggest companies. Think of the biggest companies in audio, aside from, let's say, Bose or something. But think of the biggest. I'm not talking to Beats.
They're not invited.
Just think about the biggest companies. I'm talking to all of them. I'm telling them about this. They're loving it. And they're giving us their feedback. So they're helping us, make it better. And I'm telling them, like, look, you don't have to spend all this crazy money on well, you can't. So even if they wanted to do the trade show and spend all that money, they couldn't. The shows, a lot of them are canceled, right? And so the audiophile, I see your deaf audiophile, I see your question. I'll get to it. So basically there's no real option, right? And so what I'm saying is I'm telling them I'm going to charge you as low as I possibly can for these companies. And instead, I want them to do some awesome giveaways. I'm talking about ridiculous giveaways. I'm not talking about like, no. I want them to go, if they were going to spend, what, 50 G's?
Yeah. Well, that's the reality. It's expensive because my last job, I was in charge of trying to figure out how much we were able to, what it would cost to do a booth at a convention. And it was going to cost $40,000 just for our booth. Then you have to rent that space. You have to pay just to get it off. I mean, it was insane. It was probably going to cost us about $60,000 every single time we went to a show.
Okay, there you go.
So it's a huge amount. It really is.
Right? Think of that number divided by 5 or 6 or more, right? And then with the rest, let's say you have 50 G's extra, right? What if you're to do $50,000 worth of giveaways? What kind of publicity would that be? Would you guys out there like that? Would you?
Let us know in the chat. Does that sound good?
Would you like it if some of these companies, some of the favorite companies that we talk about all the time, would you like it if they did, a $20,000 giveaway of all kinds of products, 30,000? Would that be enticing? You let me know.
Dude, you're enticing me already. What's going on? You got a $5,000 system, $2,000 system. They can do all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool if one company does it, right? But how about if a bunch of companies? What if all these companies are doing that? That's what I'm talking about. So we'll see. And then we got Ron Bernay over here. So I'm gonna tap you to go and reach out to some of the higher end guys and let them know what's going on.
You got it, man.
You got my back on this?
I got your back.
Hey, Wilson.
I got
That's right, man. Now Wilson, you may just get a pair of bookshelf speakers, but
Yeah,
I
you
don't think
guys-
anybody would be
I
complaining
mean,
at those.
They'll give you the terminal that you plug your
There you
wires
go,
into.
man.
Like, there
That's
you
right.
go.
Get that.
Put it on a
70
shelf.
Ron, you got some speaker cable connects, right? Like contacts.
Oh yeah.
With some big Mac Daddy speaker cables.
Joey, what were you thinking for ticket pricing? You were going to answer that question
Yeah,
from
so
earlier.
ticket pricing. Now, I was looking at ticket pricing for a traditional trade show, right? And I'm seeing like 24, 25 bucks for a day, right? Now, here's the thing. What you have to understand is when you go to a trade show, it's not going to be 24 bucks and that's it. Because how much is parking? 18 bucks for parking.
Every day.
Right? Every single day that you're there. You got to eat too. So you got to pay for all that. So at the end of the day, you're not going to spend $24. So I'm thinking for a day, all right? So it's going to be 5 days. For a day, if it's 24 bucks, let's say if I just follow that same model, $24, right? But let's say if I make the 5-day pass 49 bucks, right? It's kind of a no-brainer, like 49 bucks for all 5 days. And maybe you know what I should do is I'm going to do an early bird special and make it so it's 24 bucks for the 5 days. If they sign up for like the first 30 within the first 30 days, let's say. Right? I'll make it just 25 bucks, $24 for all 5 days.
Wow, that's less than $5 a day. It's fantastic. Less than your cup of coffee.
Yes. So that's the plan.
With the possibility of winning some sort of big prize, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
possibility. Fingers crossed. I want to win something. Can I win?
So here's the trick is I need all you guys, everybody who's watching, I need you guys, right, to convince these companies that they should do it, right? But at the same time, I need the companies to do it so that I can show you guys, hey, this is what the actual giveaways are. So it's kind of hand in hand. I need everybody kind of work together on it. So it's a combined effort. Yeah, that's basically. I
cool
will
idea.
show you right now.
Pretty awesome.
In the next few days, I'm going to open it up so you can buy your tickets. I'm going to have a demo on the website so you can see what's going on inside. And the other thing is we're going to obviously have seminars that you expect at a conference, right? You expect to see seminars. So seminars, we're going to have those. That's going to be available for free to everybody. Right.
And you don't get that at trade shows.
Yeah, no.
Most of the time those are extra.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys can all watch all the seminars, no problem. And yeah, that's basically it. And so the thing is, if you cannot afford to spend anything, and I understand that that's the case for a lot of people right now, I understand that. And so if it's the case that you can't pay the $24 for, if you can't do that even, then after the show is over, I'm going to open up the website to everyone. So everything that you could have seen during the 5 days, you're going to be able to see it.
Great idea.
For a week or so. So
there'll just be certain perks you won't, be able to access, like probably the giveaways.
Yeah, that's the only thing, right? The giveaways are going to be limited time. So if all you want to do is be able to see all the new stuff, you'll be able to see it. So it's going to be free. The seminars are free during, right? And then after a week, it's going to be open to the general public anyway. So you have options. If you want to be there, if you're the type who wants to be there, somebody's saying booth babes and bikinis.
I want to be there, man.
We're going to have a live chat so you guys can all talk to each other and tell each other like, hey, make sure to check out this, make sure to check out that. It's going to be a great time.
It's awesome. Very cool.
Insane idea. I'm liking the comments. I'm going to have to go back and take a look at all you guys' comments over here. You guys have recommendations of people I need to reach out to. It would be awesome if you guys could reach out to them.
Reach out.
No, too, because
send emails.
Listen to you guys, right? They listen to I listen to my my followers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Your viewers. Yeah.
My viewers. Yeah.
Gotta listen to the viewers.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I got for you when it comes to that. And I will have something to show you. I got big meetings coming up with all these big companies. They're super excited, and so I know that we're on to something here. So that's it. If you have any questions, email me, leave a comment on any of my videos. I'll do my best to respond to it. So anyway, aside from that, what else is going on here? I see a lot of stuff going on in the comments. I don't want to make the whole show about this. This show, I'm sure you guys will see it, from now till 59 days from now, you're going to see it everywhere. Yeah. So
here's a good question. Random question, but where are you guys getting your haircuts in this day and age? And I'm actually rocking my Corona cut, which means I'm not getting any haircut.
Let it go,
So
man. Let it go.
it's just growing. Joe, I know, was cutting his own hair.
Yeah.
I've cut mine like literally all my life.
Oh, wow.
Like literally just a clipper, just buzz it. I put a 4 on it and that's it. There's no fade. There's no fancy. I'm dead serious, man. It's like
it's a youth man deal. His haircut is even a youth man deal.
I don't pay a dime for those. I buy clippers like every 8 years.
Even his haircut's a youth man deal.
That's right.
He doesn't even mess around. It's a 4. He doesn't have time for all that, fade, all that.
Dude. I get my girls about every 2 or 3. I'll get them to trim my neckline.
Some people are saying their wife cuts their hair.
There you go.
I wouldn't trust my wife to cut my hair.
Do what you gotta do.
Although I should invest in some clippers.
Ron gets down on the facial hair. Like every time someone was like, "What's Ron's facial hair gonna be this time?" Mutton chops this time. What does he got?
That's it. Got to keep people on their toes.
I remember when before you had the kids, you had a pretty crazy long beard going on.
Oh, bro, yeah, it was at least down to here. I looked like a homeless man reviewing hi-fi gear. It didn't make any sense.
Well, you look like a typical audiophile, actually.
Yeah.
All you need
exactly a homeless guy, right?
Yeah, there's like a bird's
Big
nest in there,
somewhere.
and yeah, it's crazy.
Do we have any questions? We didn't come up with questions this time, so maybe what we can do is just answer questions from the chat and just leave it open. Sometimes
or we could take more calls. We got 170 people watching on all 4 channels.
Let's open up the phone lines, man. Let's just get this show rocking.
How many did you say, Chana?
170.
Okay, I got 165 on my channel.
Bring it in.
We are all just not doing it right. Michael is the only one.
Let's see here. Let me open up the phone line.
Just replying to some of these comments.
Boom. All right, phone line should be open.
Let me put this.
Oh man, I love that one. X748 says, "Get the Flowbee." Y'all remember that thing?
The Flowbee? Oh heck yeah!
Vacuum cleaner
when I
haircut
was
thing.
When I was a teenager, my stepmom bought one and used it on my head. It was the goofiest thing in the world, man. Oh my god,
that's awesome.
It was crazy. Good concept, but it was just weird. You got a call, man?
I'm ready. So
I thought you had a call.
No, I'll let you guys know.
Gotcha.
Let's see.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, go ahead and call in, people. The number is on the screen. Call in, say what's up, ask a question, see what's going on.
Yeah, of course you can ask questions in the comment section too, guys.
Of course.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Hey, Michael, how insanely loud is your system? I was kind of curious. Like, if you turn it up to pretty much the max without distortion, how loud is it?
Yeah, I have just always told people your ears will give out before my speakers will.
Yeah,
literally. I mean, it's and Chana. I mean, Chana knows. Oh, sorry about that. Forgot. I put the camera at a different place now, so I'm not used to having it right there. Chana's got the Cornwall 4s. Dude,
Yeah.
they're like 100 dB sensitive with 1 watt. You know, so if you get really cranking on them things, they'll get really loud really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
How about those subs though? What's that?
Look at him.
I think I'm always smiling, man. Dude, I'm telling you, dude, you put 4 18s.
That literally breaks my brain just thinking about that.
No,
4
man, no,
18s.
dude.
I know what 4 12s sound like, but 4 18s?
Yeah. And I used to think that, guys like that were just, that's like, oh, that's ridiculous. That's insane.
And it is.
You're now a guy like that.
Well, here's the deal, though.
You're that guy.
I recently did a video on, is this overkill?
No.
You know, and we began to talk about just the concept. Is there such thing as having, you know, too much sub, too much amplifier? And the reality is, my thing is know if you have it dialed in.
Mm.
The problem comes is when you ever, you know, you see guys, I remember back in high school, I was into car audio, and guys would like just load up on subwoofers. They'd have like 4 15s in the back, and they'd be using the stock, you know, mid-range driver in their doors, and you couldn't hear them for nothing.
It's all about the bass.
That's literally overkill. Okay.
Yeah.
But when you can balance it out, and I had a friend of mine help me out big time with the mini DSP using REW. We've got it dialed in, dude. It's it's smoking, man. It sounds really, really good. So, and the reality is you just get that really, really tight bass that you expect from sealed, but you get this massive impact that you find most of the time with ported subs, because you've got so much surface area, and the subwoofers don't have to work hard. I'm like, these things are cruising along, you know,
they're just moving a ton of air.
Yeah. You know, so when you go have those really big dynamic shifts in a movie, and it goes from really quiet to like massive explosion. Did y'all see 1917?
No, you know, I was trying to get
the movie's terrible. I'll be honest, it was horrible. But I'm telling you, there's one scene at the beginning of that movie, man, and it's basically they're walking through kind of like this little cave area, and they hit this tripwire, dude. I've never jumped in my theater ever, and everybody that was in my theater room jumped. It was that stinking crazy, and it was the 418s, man. I mean, it literally will it'll move your intestines. Put it that way.
Oh,
it'll rearrange your organs.
Well, I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, how many brown notes are you hitting with those 18s, bro?
Dude,
like people are like,
nah, your butt cheeks.
I gotta go to the bathroom now.
They tuck her so tight in it, ain't nothing from that.
Hey, shout out to George Barrelone, is that how you say it? For the super chat.
There you go. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you so much.
Joe, someone says the phone is going to voicemail.
Oh, it's going to voice.
All right, here we go. Any exposure to Arendal Sound?
Okay.
I know that Shane from Spare Change got some Arendal Sound, the THX. I don't know which ones he got, but I only heard about it when he made a video about them. I think they're from Europe somewhere.
You know who else has got them? Oh my goodness. I am literally drawing a blank. Another content creator.
Oh, the Villa Man.
Yeah. Hey, you're on the air. Can you hear us?
Oh, hey guys.
Hey.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing? Who's this?
Good. Hey, my name is Juan. I'm a big fan of the show, guys.
What's up, Juan?
And big fan. I follow all of you guys, and very much enjoy the content.
Awesome, man.
I wanted to get your thoughts around. Wanted to get your thoughts around IMAX Enhanced. So I was watching Jumanji the other day. I got the 4K Blu-ray disc for it, and I had the Denon 4500H receiver.
Okay.
So I was watching it in IMAX Enhanced, and one of the things I noticed is that I think when you have it turned on, it kind of messes with your crossover settings, or from what I've read. And I wanted to get kind of your thoughts around it. It sounded good, but I just wasn't sure if I should, if it's better for me to leave the crossover settings that I normally do with Odyssey versus letting the IMAX Enhanced kind of mess with the crossover settings.
All right. Who wants to get at that? I have the 4500H.
Yeah. I'm actually making a video on Dolby Atmos and DTSX versus IMAX Enhanced. Have you gone to the surround parameters section in the AVR while the IMAX Enhanced content is playing?
I did. And I saw that there was some settings around, I think, like low pass filter and high pass filter, and I just left it in auto.
Yeah, I would suggest keeping that in auto unless you are really like tuned into how your system works, right? You can go ahead and play around with those. I noticed that it's in my system, it's just easier to just keep it in auto. And I know when Joe and I were talking about it, like there's just more information. Like there's more low end. I hear more stuff in the surrounds. It's Phil Jones. Phil Jones. Is that his name?
Philip Jones.
Yes, Phil Jones.
I don't know why he goes by Philip now. We call him Phil, but on his thing last time it said Philip. I'm like, what?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So he explained it to me in the best way possible. You're getting the full dynamic mix from the theater as opposed to a near field mix that you'll find on all the discs, on all the streaming stuff. So I would say just leave it at auto. Unless you really want to try it out, and if you could spend a few hours trying it out, changing your low pass filter, changing your high pass filter. But if you don't know what those things do and how they relate to your system and what they can do, then just leave it on auto.
So
that's what I think. What do you think?
You've read that it actually changes the crossover because I would think that it shouldn't change your crossover settings because that would be dangerous. First of all, right? If you put on something IMAX Enhanced and then all of a sudden, like, anything that was cut off at 80 hertz is starting to play 20 hertz tones, that's not good, right? That's no good for the speakers, right? So I'm not sure if it actually does that.
That was exactly my worry because I have a pretty capable system. So I have my fronts crossed over at 80 hertz, but I read online that I think when you turn it on, it sets the crossover at 70 hertz. So I think my speakers should be okay in going down to 70 hertz.
Oh yeah.
But it's kind of just that peace of mind knowing that it's not going to potentially damage your system if Odyssey is recommending one crossover setting and this changes it to something else.
My guess is this is actually there's two parts of your AVR. There's the part that Denon, Marantz, and whoever, right? The part that they set, which is usually the crossover, the timing, the levels, that's set on their end, right? And so even something like Odyssey doesn't change. Well, it shouldn't change those things. Basically, I think maybe if I were to guess what they were saying is that the content is allowing it to go down to 70 hertz, but I would doubt that it would change that. I'm going to have to talk to Phil and those guys to see if that's true, but I don't think that it would change the crossover when you switch it to IMAX Enhanced. Right? That doesn't seem like something they would allow. What I did notice is that there is more bass coming out of the surround speakers when I'm playing something on IMAX Enhanced. And so even if, let's say, I think mine are crossed over, they can go down to 60 hertz, something like that. And so most content that's going to go to those rear speakers usually doesn't even get down that low, right? It's actually pretty high up. And so I noticed that the IMAX stuff does allow stuff that is lower to go to the rear speakers, but I think it would be limited to whatever the crossover set to. The rest of the information that speaker can handle would go to your sub. That's my guess. I'm gonna have to talk to Phil and confirm that, but I'm pretty sure.
Excellent, thank you. Would appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, Phil's not hard to reach actually. If you look up Phil Jones at Sound United, you can ask him directly too. I'm sure his information's out there.
Yeah, I was watching the previous broadcast when he was on, and I think I was trying to ask a question in chat, but it just the comments went by so quick that I figured let me call in today instead and ask.
Yeah, he kind of put out his email too.
that was pretty brave.
He's awesome like that.
Yeah,
we got Spare Change in the house. Spare Change might know. If you don't follow him, he knows a lot about home theater too, so he might have an answer to that question too.
I don't think he has IMAX Enhanced.
No,
depending on what processor he has in there.
I don't even know if he has pants on.
Wow.
What is up, Spare
That's
Change?
a vigil, man. What's going on, brother?
Oh, Ron, did you see that about your playlist on screen?
Yeah, I threw it out there. I took care of it. I'm ahead of the game.
You the man.
Well, hopefully that answers your question. Did you have any more questions?
No, I think that's it for now. I'll keep listening in, and I'm sure if something else pops up, I'll dial back in. Thanks, guys.
We'll follow up with you on that. So check back with us. I'm going to definitely give a call and see what's up.
No problem. Thank you.
All right.
Hey, man, thanks for calling in. Have a good night.
Bye.
Yep. Thanks. You too.
So Spare Change says I don't. I'm not sure if he's saying
Pants. He's on pants.
he doesn't use IMAX Enhanced or if he doesn't
Or
have
is it
pants.
the pants?
Yeah, I'm thinking pants. How many of y'all think
man.
pants?
That guy. That guy. He's a character.
Too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Trinov. Yeah, he gets some fancy stuff over there.
Oh yeah, he's got a
We'll be
Trinov
jealous.
right now.
He's
Yeah,
like super fancy stuff.
I saw the microphone they use. It's like a 3D
Yeah, it's kind of
microphone.
weird. Yeah.
It's like got one thing here in the middle, and it's got like 4 surrounding it. It's like,
Have you seen that,
what is
Ron?
all that?
No, is it a like a VR mic, like one of those 360-degree mics? Is that what it is?
No, it looks
I
like
would
a
imagine, but
Probe that aliens use, man. It's
yeah,
like
yeah, like to pull your
Um,
eye out or something. It's like all weird.
it's pretty wild.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
totally different than anything I've seen.
That's cool.
Shane over there at Spare Change says speakers should be full range with IMAX Enhanced. When IMAX Enhanced is engaged, lol, no pants too.
Well, there it is.
I'm wondering if that means that it'll automatically assume that all your speakers are full range, because that would be crazy. I'm gonna have to find out.
So so with IMAX, it's 2 full range speakers and then a center channel is how like a traditional IMAX theater is built. So you don't have anything in the surrounds. So what Phil was telling me at CES last year was that IMAX Enhanced is going to take your setup, whether it's 5.1.4, 7.2.2, whatever it is, and try to use the Atmos and the height channels to just mimic to full range speakers. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to mimic that feeling.
That's crazy. So we're kind of going back to like fewer channels.
Yeah,
Taking all the channels that you have in your home and then setting it up so it's like Ron's 2-channel.
yes, very big, very
Speakers are
loud.
Big, huge 2-channel setup.
Yep.
There's a question there that says, Youthman, is it true that HDR10 plus format is dying?
I don't think so. I mean, I haven't heard anything. I mean, I'm definitely not there.
Oh.
Everything's gonna die eventually.
Somebody
You know?
jumped off the HDR10 Plus bandwagon recently. I saw an article
really?
on it. I'm not sure if it was Panasonic or
Mhm.
Samsung. I think Samsung's still on it. I think Panasonic was the one that dropped off. I don't know. I could be wrong. Or it could be one of the content creators, one of the production houses.
Mhm.
So
I mean, Dolby Atmos will be dying. I mean, everything's dying. It's just a matter of how quickly is it going to die out. So,
Hey, do you guys? I got a question for you guys, for you fellas.
sure.
Do you have like an audiophile hi-fi playlist that you guys always play when you get like a brand new pair of speakers in that you're just like, I'm gonna just run through every single one of these songs? Do you guys have?
Of course. It's
I
called
have a
audio
two-channel,
playlist on Tidal.
it's called 2-channel audio.
Cool. Yeah, I was just curious.
What did you Go ahead.
I ran through a bunch today, actually. My playlist is about 3.5 hours. So
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier, I was bumping those corn walls, and like my wife was just in the master bedroom like, you're just gonna listen to music for 3 hours. I'm like, yes, I'm working. This is work.
That's your job.
So yeah. And then I actually have a second playlist of new music. Somebody asked in the chat, I forget where and who it is, but they asked, do you guys have music you go back to, or are you guys always looking for new music? Me as a DJ,
I did see that, yeah.
I'm always looking for new music. So it's actually a combination of the two. So I have a new playlist that's just filled with Tidal MQA files, right? And I call it the March Tunes 2020. There's going to be an April Tunes 2020 and everything that's new. And I just got an email from Tidal saying they added a whole new bunch of MQAs. So if you guys have Tidal MQA, definitely peruse the new MQA section. A lot of new tracks.
Yeah, I haven't been looking for a lot of new music lately, just because, I don't know. I think when you get older, it's just kind of like there's so much music that you've already experienced that you have an emotional connection to. It's like, I don't want to necessarily look for new music. Techno Dad, you're my go-to guy for new music. Actually, on Saturday when you do your live stream, you kind of show me some new stuff on there, so that's kind of cool. But for the most part, I've been trying to discover old stuff, right? So think about from like, whatever, whenever they were able to start recording audio.
When Michael was a kid, right? Yeah.
There's probably some pretty good music from then to now, right? And at least now I can go back and try to rediscover some of those. And yeah, so I've been kind of listening to old music that I didn't know about.
That's cool.
You know, stuff like that. There was another question. Speaking of that, yes, I do have an audiophile playlist that I run through. Just because I'm kind of calibrated to those songs, I know how things should sound on average, right? Where stuff should be, and so I can tell if a speaker is doing something or not. But I was talking to Chana about what he was going to do as far as DJing for the Hi-Fi Summit, and I was thinking, you know what would be cool? Chana, do you want to tell him about the idea of the playlist? Like doing a seminar.
Oh yeah. So I was gonna do a seminar. So like we talked about theme nights, BDSM and no.
What is that?
No.
Just totally kidding.
I'm like typing and I'm like,
Ron,
I just want to make sure you guys are listening.
Yeah.
Do something like this too, because this is awesome. Check out this idea.
So we were talking about different nights gonna have different music, be hip hop night, electronic night, or whatever. And I was thinking, well, I could even do like a hi-fi night where that could be the first night where I just go through hi-fi tracks and what to listen for. And of course, you guys would be piping that into your sound system and listening on your speakers. So that would be a cool way to expose you guys to tracks that I use when I'm evaluating speakers and headphones. And of course, since it is interactive, you guys can also suggest them. I can play them, depending on how many people have suggestions and stuff. So that's also another cool situation we're trying to think of to get this Hi-Fi Summit popping off in a way that like no other audio trade show has done before.
Yeah, think about it, right? Think about it. So Chana, you have a pretty crazy setup going directly into YouTube. The way you stream is direct. It's not like you're not recording speakers and then playing that. It's the direct direct from Tidal.
Yeah.
Right. And so, of course, there's going to be some loss because YouTube compression. There's you can't get around
deny that. Yeah.
But for the most part, it might be good enough for you to be able to hear certain things. Right.
Oh yeah.
If it's hitting a certain bass note, you'll be able to hear bass. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The compression is not going to ruin the bass completely. Yeah. So he'll play a track and say, hey, check out the bass note when it hits right here. If you don't hear that on your speakers, well, maybe it's time to upgrade to
some bigger speakers.
You need some bigger speakers, right? And so I thought that might be interesting. Or if he says, hey, you know what? Notice how this thing is panned to the left. It's right over there. And if you're listening on your speakers and it's panned to the right, well, you might have your stuff switched.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's an interesting way to check stuff out together. It's not perfect, but I think it's pretty good. I think that's better than what we have now.
Definitely.
So that's interesting. Ron, I'm kind of curious to hear, like, if I were to run through your playlist and say, like, all right, I'm going to play this track. This is what I'm listening for right here, right now in this section. And I want to know if I can hear it on my speakers.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of fun with it, and I actually enjoy it. And it's something that we don't talk about enough. Here we are always talking about equipment and stuff like that. And I enjoy talking about this kind of stuff where it's like, not too long ago, I was out on a bike ride, and Joey, you just started up chatting with us on Facebook. We talk, all the time, and you're just like, hey man, give me like a song that's like crazy with like, I think you're looking for drums or what sounds like in the room or whatever. And man, my wheels started spinning, and I was like, oh, there's so many out there. And it's just fun. It's fun to just have a playlist of audiophile treats that you just fire up every now and then. Yeah.
You just snack on them as you want, man.
Snack on them
during quarantine.
Exactly.
Might be interesting. I think people are trying to call and I'm not paying attention. I apologize if you try to call. I'm looking now. All right. Boom. So is the Tidal Hi-Fi worth to $20 a month? That's gonna depend on you. I've tried Tidal and Qobuz, and I think that Qobuz for me, I don't have all the stuff to unwrap and do all the stuff for the MQA stuff. So I don't know if I'm getting the best possible quality when I'm using Tidal versus Qobuz is just, you don't have to have anything special. So I like that, but Qobuz didn't seem to have as many tracks. So there's some stuff missing. And if they can figure that part out, you know, I'm all about it.
I totally agree. Yeah.
We're getting another call here. Oh, missed it.
Oh, by the way, Rob E, I did play the WOT song bought by Captain Sensible. I did. It was like one of the last few that I got in there.
The other question I saw up there was the PB 2000 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in something like that. Getting two of those because right now I'm rocking the SB 3000. I'm kind of curious. Two ported. Might change it up over here.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a call here. All right, you are on the air. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Timmy.
Hi, Timmy.
Hi.
Hi, I watch you with my dad all the time. I was wondering what your favorite type of speaker is. Your favorite sound system?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Favorite speakers.
Yeah. Favorite speakers. All right, favorite speakers. Let's just go for it. We got it.
Are you talking for music or movies?
Probably for like home theater and then also for like streaming services.
Mm-hmm. So a little bit of both.
Oh, a little bit of both.
I guess,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, I mean, the top of my leaderboard, I have a speaker leaderboard where I rank my favorite speakers that I've reviewed, right? And so only stuff that I've reviewed, not stuff that I've ever heard in life, but like stuff that I've actually had. And on the top is still the Denton 85th anniversary. I just love the way they look. I love the way they sound, and they're good for music and movies. So that's gonna be that's gonna be up there for me.
Awesome. Thanks for answering my question.
Yeah.
No problem.
How about Chana? What do you got? And Ron?
I just switched from the Klipsch to the Martin Logan, and that's kind of where I'm at. I like the Martin Logans. I like the electrostats. It's a pain to find that center image though in my room because it's not ideal, but it took me about an hour. I'm not kidding you, but once I had that done, it sounded perfect. So I like the Martin Logans, and they're the electrostatic loudspeaker is what they call those.
How about you, Ron?
Well, my favorite speakers I think of all time are from a company called MBL. They're these crazy looking omnidirectional speakers that will just blow your mind. I think those are probably still my favorite of all time. But of stuff that I've had and reviewed, I think the current king in the house is the GR Research NX Auticas, which are an open baffle loudspeaker, and I love those to bits. They're great.
Yeah, also we're talking about some stuff that's kind of expensive sometimes. And for inexpensive, I also still like those Mica RB42s that are, $149 a pair. I still really, really, really like those. I've just gotten done reviewing these Edifier R1280Ts that are powered speakers that are $99 a pair.
Wow.
And I was just like so happy that they actually sound good.
Well, well, Joey, those MBLs are only like 90,000. So
only 90,000. Yeah, they're
it's pretty close.
What kind of speakers do you have right now? I think you said your dad listens to. Yeah. What kind of speakers?
My dad has the Klipsch one. He's gonna talk.
Right.
Okay.
I think it's the. I'm not exactly sure which one it is right now, but it's like Klipsch Reference Series. I think.
Bookshelf.
Yeah. So I have like two towers. I have like a center speaker. I wish I knew the names. I'm not really good with the names of them, but I have the side speakers. I have two speakers on each side to like spread the sound. And then I use the Dolby Atmos ones as the background, actually.
Okay.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, just to let you guys know, you guys really made my day calling in and letting us know.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Makes me very happy.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
That's sick, man. We love you guys.
Well, it's always funny because people are always saying like, how do we get, a different generation into this?
Yeah.
And well, I said, you got to make it fun. That's you got to make it fun, and you can't make everything $100,000. That's the simple solution. Make it attainable and make it fun.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
you guys are great.
Thanks.
Bye.
We appreciate it.
Bye.
Good night.
Hey, Chana, my guys are saying that there's two streams for New Record Day going at the same time, which is really weird.
That's awesome, Ron.
Some reason when I was logging in, I thought I saw it twice.
Yeah, we like hacked YouTube, I guess. That's really
hilarious. You're just
Dude.
trying to double down on those views.
Yeah.
I know. That's how you do it. Just do
Time
like
to bring up Patreon real quick.
I've only got
dipping.
one. I only see one on here.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. All right. We'll
Kinda weird.
roll with it.
SB3000s. They should give away a bunch of SB2000 Pros or
Yeah.
EB2000 Pros. I'm gonna talk to them over there. I know I don't know if you guys saw the SVS live streams that they've been doing, but they had more people watching than us.
Oh wow.
And they only
Oh,
they only have 10,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel, but they had like over 300 people watching their live stream. I was like, what are
How
you
dare
guys doing? You know?
How dare
And then I saw that they were doing a bunch of giveaways. I'm like,
There you go.
this thing. I text Nick right away. Hey, giveaways work, huh?
I think
Yes.
you're good, Ron. I popped over to your channel. The way you've got your homepage set up, you've got kind of like what's current and then your recent upload. So it's just showing it twice, but
Okay.
it should be the same feed.
Yeah. Oh, is that what they're talking about? Yeah,
I think so. It just shows twice, but if you look at it, it has the same amount of viewers. So
Sorry, I'm
One of my
missing
guys says NRD is streaming in stereo. That's funny.
There it is. That's NRD 4.0.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, here we go. I see the problem. The ringer was off. Here we go.
There you go.
There we go. You are on the air. What's your name? And what do you want to talk about?
My name is Abe.
What's going on,
It's
Nate?
also known as the X748.
Okay, what's up?
I want to talk about the Dolby Atmos 7.2, or I'm sorry, when you have a 9.2 setup, the front speakers. How important is it to have it exactly aligned to get the good sound for Dolby Atmos? So in other words, it's not a perfect room.
yeah, and nobody has a perfect room, even with the dedicated theater room. I think as close. I mean, I know one thing that I ran into was, we even have like rafters, up in the attic. And so you kind of, sometimes you can't get exactly where it says, but you just want to make sure you're in a pretty good ballpark. You don't want to just be randomly saying, okay, well, I'm just going to slap a speaker up here, and hope it sounds good. Do the best you can to kind of go along their guidelines. And if you look at the Dolby Atmos website, they have like degrees. And so it's not like they're saying you have to be this absolute position, but there's a range. And so you just want to try to stay in that range that they recommend.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the front three, I would say, are the most important to get the same. But a lot of people have been telling me that they have a full SVS setup, including their Atmos channels, and they find it's like this nice little bubble that they're in, and it all sounds the same. Again, like with Dolby Atmos, anything, it all depends on the content you're watching. Like if there's some movies that are in Dolby Atmos and a lot of the action scenes just have the score coming through the height channels, which is kind of ripoff if you think about it. But yeah, you can definitely mix and match. Your surrounds don't necessarily need to be exactly the same, and your heights don't need to exactly be the same as your fronts.
About the brand? What about the brand name as far as compared to the rears? Should they be all the same brand?
If you can, yes. I was just literally talking to somebody earlier today. They called me and they were talking about how, they just found a really, really, really good deal on a pair of Atmos speakers, but they weren't the same brand as, their floor level speakers. And I told them that's totally fine. Ideally, if you can get all the same brand and even better in all the same series, of course, that would be better. But the reality is our ears face forward. And so that's what your ears are going to hear the most. They're used to hearing sound in front of us, stuff behind you, stuff above you. is kind of like peripheral vision, you know, for your hearing. And so it's just not as important to have the same exact, you know, the closer you can, you know, like I said, the better kind of enveloping sound you're going to get and the more natural it's going to sound. But it's not going to be like you have 3 different brand of speakers for your front, you know, sound stage. That would just be really, really obvious to your ears. That's not going to work well.
Okay. And that would be good for music as well.
For, you mean your Atmos?
Yeah, for playing music, for like 2-channel audio.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, for 2-channel audio, you're going to want to have the same exact speakers. You know, you don't want to get a, you know, one brand for your left speaker and one brand for your right speaker. Of course, that is going to sound very, very odd.
I've even done the different center channel, and it sounded.
Yeah, it's going to be weird.
It was distracting when something would go from left to right. It would sound different when it hit the center speaker.
Yeah,
no matter what. After I ran Odyssey, it still wasn't perfect. So
yeah,
definitely.
And that's what they call timbre match, or some people call it timbre match. You just want to have that same. Yeah, you just want to have that same style sound, that same, you know, you don't want to mix a soft on tweeter with a titanium tweeter. You're going to get a totally different sound. It's going to be like a different kind of pitch in a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great question, man.
Well, thank you. Thanks for taking my question.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you calling in.
Take care.
Yep, you too. Thank you.
Bye-bye. There we go. Yeah, I have the ringer on, so yeah, I'm gonna miss your call
now. It's on now.
It's on.
Right.
It's on. It's on. What other questions are we missing in here?
Hey, Ron, Tristan says Ron loves taking speakers apart like dissecting a frog in high school.
It's true, I do.
He's the hi-fi scientist over there.
Got another call here. How you doing? You're on the air.
Wow.
Hey. Yes, what's your name?
What's happening, man?
What's going on?
Well, this is George Baroloni. I did a super chat a little while ago with the Arendal speakers.
Awesome, man. How are you, George?
That's good. But I guess my question is, one of the, you know, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, watch you guys all the time.
Oh, thank you.
One of the things that we don't really, no problem. One of the things we don't really see a lot of is like the comparison, say like the Klipsch line. You have the stuff you can buy at Best Buy, and then you have the reference Premier series.
Yeah, sure.
And then you have you have the flagship models. I mean, quite a big difference in price between, you know, all of them, especially with the flagships.
Sure.
You know, so it's difficult to find like what really is the difference between, you know, the cabinets and the bracing, the drivers. I mean, some things you can see, like the difference between like a 1-inch or a 1 3/4 inch titanium driver,
right?
You know, tweeters and stuff, but you don't really see an awful lot. There's no comparisons. There's no charts. So without having to buy them and then try them and send them back if you don't like them, I mean, there's no way to audition these things, but this is what you guys do. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
that's always hard. I mean, mostly with the Klipsch, what I found, because I've owned a bunch of Klipsch over the years, the biggest thing in the higher end reference series is they use a compression driver tweeter, and that thing, I don't know what the physical differences is in say that and just a regular titanium, but it's a huge difference. They use typically a bigger horn. It's a much bigger driver. A lot of times you go from say a 1-inch driver in the reference Premier series to a 1.75-inch compression driver in the RF-7.3s, and it's just massive. That top end is smooth, it's beautiful, but it's big, like a huge soundstage.
I would assume you get a lot more volume out of that as well.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, I mean, volume. Yeah, definitely, because you can crank the RF-7s like, and as long as you're feeding them clean power, they're not going to distort. But I was able to crank up the RF, the 8060 FAs. Man, they've got a beautiful sound to them, you know. And so, really, I mean, you always run into that law of diminishing returns. Part of that you're going to be paying for cabinet work. Not even just the physical, like the bracing and stuff, but you pay extra for like the veneer, the real wood veneer. And so you get that with that RF-7.3. So there's a lot of pieces. So there's a lot of pieces that go into that additional cost. So
yeah, I mean, my draw to the flagship is definitely the real wood veneers and just the better craftsmanship.
Absolutely.
The only drawback that I see to the RF7 is really it's just a two-way design.
Yeah. Well, to answer your question, I think you were saying, you don't want to have to ship stuff back, but I think that's one of the great things is that you have the opportunity to try stuff out at your house. Of course, yeah, if they're huge speakers, it's kind of a pain to have to do. It's not kind of, it is a pain to have to go and do that. But you're able to audition stuff at your house. I think Klipsch is doing something crazy like 90 days or something trial. 3 months. 3 months you get to try these speakers out in your home. So it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, that's an awesome service. And I know SVS does something similar, 60 days, where you can try something in your house. So I think that's definitely the best way. I think one of the issues that you touched on, though, is that it's kind of hard to narrow stuff down when it comes to speakers. Like if I were to search for speakers on Amazon, it goes like, there's a filter on the left. It sorts by like size and weight, like dimensions and weight. And those are things I don't care about when it comes to a speaker. And so I think that's going to be one of the things we're going to be doing on our on the Hi-Fi Summit.
Yeah, I think another thing, especially with the Klipsch line that you're talking about, once you get to the RF7 threes, all that stuff is made in America, and that really shoots up the price, right? It's all assembled in Hope, Arkansas. It's designed there, so that also plays a part into it. The RF7 threes, for instance, also have bifurcated cabinets, meaning each woofer has its own separate cabinet, whereas the reference Premier and the reference line do not have that in there. So there are all these little things, and again, with the wood grain on the RF7 and any of the heritage stuff, like those things look gorgeous. Not like the reference stuff and the stuff at Best Buy doesn't, but I have like the cherry walnut, American walnut, or the something cherry. I forget the names, but man, I was like, man, I'm so moving away from black speakers now because the wood grain on their wood veneer, whatever they call it, looks gorgeous. So there's a lot of things in that. And then of course the drivers on the RF7, like Mike was saying, those are way different than the drivers on all their other lines. So I think it's more of a specific parts kind of situation. And that's also driving the cost up.
Yep. Michael, did you feel the mid-range was really there with it just being a two-way with big 10-inch drivers?
Yeah. So typically, and honestly, that's real debatable with a lot of guys. Some people will claim that a three-way is better, than a two-way.
I've heard this guy.
Three-way is always better.
Oh, come on, man. I've heard some great. It's terrible, man. Dude, my goodness.
It's terrible.
So really it's a preference because some guys really prefer a two-way sound. You can have some amazing speakers. Like Ron, for what would be an incredible two-way speaker for two-channel music that you've heard?
Oh man, there's a ton of them out there. I mean, the Adantes are fantastic for. Well, actually, that's I've got in trouble. It's not technically a two-way. The new debut reference are a two-way, and those are fantastic. Those are incredible. Yeah.
So I'm not sure that a three-way necessarily makes a speaker sound better as far as mid-range. Again, it's just preference. I've heard a lot of the three-way older heritage speakers. So you got I had the Heresy 3s, Forte 3s. They to me sounded better in the mid-range than the RF7 3s. But in my room, the RF7 3s just sounded so much better than either one of those, from my setup. So the best thing, of course, always is if you can just try to hear them for yourself, because that is the only way that your ears are going to know what your ears prefer. And like Joe said, if they're offering a 90-day trial, I mean, if that's really what you want, that's the only way to know is to bring them in your own home, in your own setup, because your acoustics are going to be way different than my acoustics in my room. I mean, my room is really loud in my 2-channel setup. And I don't even really consider it a 2-channel setup. I just have it there for some music listening, and but it's less than ideal. But the RF-73s, I've tried a bunch of different speakers, and that was always the ones that stayed.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Michael, because a lot of people love to go to these shows because they're able to hear the speakers, but they're going to sound totally different in your room than in a hotel room that they've set up.
Yeah.
So I think take advantage of the in-home trials.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. I definitely used through your channel. I bought the SVS SV16 Ultra. I think it's a beast, and it's awesome.
Great. It's crazy, right? It's a phenomenal subwoofer.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's every once in a while. You're right. You're watching a movie and you literally jump.
Yeah.
It's so intense.
Yep.
Well, that's awesome, and hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
Yeah. Definitely gets me down the road a little further. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
All right, brother.
Thanks.
Have a good night. Thanks for calling in.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
So there's a thing at around 5:10, Chana. Somebody, JP Winters, asked, why don't we see more center speaker reviews and comparisons? Seems overlooked for such an important speaker. Seeing many matching centers that were lacking. You know what? That's true. And
you know what? This conversation that you guys were just having about 2-way, 3-way, I prefer a 3-way center channel. Actually,
I tell you, the SBS blew me away.
I got a center channel right here.
The Ultra Center?
The Ultra. I think it sounds
Which one
better
is that, Joe?
Triangle Bro.
Oh yeah, these were everybody's hyping up these triangle speakers, so they said, "Hey, you want to check them out?" I'm like, "Yeah," and let me check out the center channel too.
There you go.
Because everybody's already done, the BR03s, Bro 3s.
Look at that.
So send me a center channel. Let me see how it sounds in a home theater situation.
Is that a 2-way or a 3-way?
This is a 2-way.
2-way. Yeah.
But yeah, I was testing them out last night, and these are measurements. If you do measurements first and you look at those, you can never tell if the speaker is going to sound good because the measurements are kind of crazy. I'll let you later on. You tell me what you think.
Yeah, I want to see him. I'm curious.
Yeah, you're gonna laugh.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but when I was listening to them, I'm like, oh, these sound. I'm using them right now, so yeah.
I think JP Winters, to answer the question, is that they're so specific. Center channel is so specific. We can't do like a two channel review on that. We can't, not necessarily going to be listening to a whole bunch of music. So it's always going to be in like a surround sound or even a 3.1 kind of situation, or I know there is one or two websites that do review. They do like a blog review on center channels. I think it's called the centerchannelzone.com or something like that.
Dedicated, huh?
Yeah, like totally. Because I only know about it because they reached out to me after I did a couple of reviews on center channels for Klipsch, and they wanted to incorporate my video into their review as well. So that's the only reason I know about it. But otherwise, I would have no clue. But there are some sites about it. But you're right. I don't see. I remember I was asking SVS to send me their Prime Center and their Ultra Center so I can compare them, but that never panned out. So, yeah.
And that makes sense. That reviewing a center channel makes sense because, for example, I've reviewed those inexpensive Pioneer Andrew Jones speakers, the BS22 LRs, SP BS22 LRs, and the floor centers, the FS52s, and I like them both. And a lot of people are trying to build a home theater around that. And one of the comments that I always see is that the center channel is weak on it. Like all the speakers are good, but the center channel doesn't really match the rest of the speakers.
Like performance-wise.
I think that happens once in a while where you assume that it's just going to be the same. But sometimes the center channel is just not as good for whatever reason. So it's interesting.
Good question here. Byron B says, everybody says that shows are not for listening and auditioning gear. So if that's the case, what is the purpose of attending hi-fi shows?
Ooh, let's say hi.
Community is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Meeting up with everybody, right? So
Yeah,
we were
community.
excited for Expono to just hang out with everybody, have dinners with each other, have some drinks if you're into that.
Yeah.
You know, that's all fun.
I think it is still exciting to be able to listen to so many different brands. You just can't go into it thinking, okay, I'm going to get an absolute amazing understanding of what this speaker sounds like in a hotel room, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's a good place to like say like just to kind of narrow things down. Hey, I kind of like these ones. I kind of like those ones. I kind of like these ones. So these are if I had to like pick 4 that I would want to try in my home.
Sure.
I it's a good place to audition, but not like critically listen because they're the rooms. When Joe and I did the show, like it was just nonsense. Like some of the stuff happening in these rooms. So, yes, it is very hard to critically listen into a hotel room or in a hotel room, but you can get an idea of what you like about a certain speaker, and then do some more research about it or try to get a pair in your home.
And I think even being able to see them in person too. I mean, there's a benefit and there's a value there, because how many times have you ever bought something and you're like, man, I thought these were big, but I had no idea they were that big, whether it's a big subwoofer or that big massive center channel, you're like, holy crap, how am I going to fit that in the cabinet?
That's true.
So being able to see that firsthand, I think there's some value to that too. And you get the chance to see that finish and, the craftsmanship of it, other than just what you see online. So there's definitely a benefit there.
With the sound at a trade show, the way I think about it is okay, let me just say it like this. If it sounds terrible, right? I don't assume that it's always terrible. It could just be the room. Right. But if it sounds really good, it at least lets me know that it's possible to have them sound that good, right? It might not sound as good in my room, but it's possible for them to sound as good as they did at that event. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of setting the upper limit more than I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. You kind of get the idea though, right? There's times where good speakers can sound really bad at a show.
Yeah.
It's all about the setup. All about the setup. Joe's $150 speakers, or it was a $250 setup, amplifier and 2 speakers, sounded a lot better than the $10,000 big cabinet horn washing machine size speakers going for $10,000. So like, setup is definitely like 60% of the game.
Yeah, you can have some great speakers and have them set up poorly, and they'll sound bad. But it doesn't mean the speakers are bad. That's what I'm saying. All right. So we're at hour 17. We have a few more questions in the chat. Am I ignoring? I'm ignoring the calls again. Here we go.
All right.
There we go. You're on the air. What's going on?
Hello there.
Hey,
Hello.
What's up? What's your name?
My name is Carlos.
What's up,
Hey,
Carlos?
What's happening, man?
Hey, what's up? I just have a question. My question is, I think that I want to see if you guys want to review a speaker. It's for Dolby Atmos.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's a Polk Audio. It's a OMW3. I sent a message to Techno that about this speaker, which is it seems like they're gonna be good for Atmos.
Let me check them out. Hold on one second.
Check them
let me
out
put them on the screen.
Is it like
here.
an up-firing speaker?
No. It's like kind of like an elevation. I had the elevation since they came out.
Gotcha.
And it had kind of the same kind of.
These guys. Yeah. Actually, what's funny is like we have these at my work at the hotel that I work at. They have these in the lobby, and they kind of like fit in the corners. Do you see this, guys? They kind of like fit in the corner.
Yeah,
have this like rounded back.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'll fit between like the ceiling and the top part of your the wall there.
Gotcha.
And it looks like you can still mount them on a mount, and they're pretty light. They're looking at them size wise. I see them at work all the time. They look pretty light. So yeah, I would definitely check those out.
Is your question whether those would be good for Atmos height?
No. My question is if you guys can review it to see. I just barely got those today.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I have the elevation ones, but I wanted. I'm using mine. It's like a height. So I want to try to use this one fire down from the ceiling, because I don't want to make a hole on my ceiling. You know, it's I think it's the best way to do it, and it seemed like a pretty good. I haven't tried them yet, but I guess for the price also it can be a good option for a lot of people.
Yeah.
What are they running for price?
Like too. Yeah. What are these?
Oh, 200? No.
I think they're about. Yeah. I got mine used. I had to pay for 70. I mean, we're like 100 and something for 4 speakers at Amazon, but the regular price is not that bad for, you know. I know a lot of people looking for Atmos speakers, and it seemed like a good option for it.
Definitely looks like a good option. 169 a pair, brand new. Yeah, that's not bad. So for like less than $400, you can get 4. That's good.
I would say, I don't know if you guys think, do you guys care if the height channels are 2-way in your system, or do you prefer it to be concentric or full range, something like that? Does that matter to you? Like that there's a point source or not? No.
I cross my high channels over at 100 hertz, so I don't care if they're 2-way or.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I was thinking too, because like, you know, it's 2-way, but you don't see too much information from those speakers. So like mine, I cross over like around 120, like I said, the elevations, and actually right now I'm using as a Philips speakers as a bookshelf, which has a ribbon tweeter, and it sounds amazing. And you can find them in a used market. But even for music, I also impressed with the sound of the. Pretty much, a lot of people doesn't know about those speakers, but they're really good, and I use them as the Atmos too. And man, they're good.
Cool.
All right. Well, cool. Thanks for the recommendation.
Very
we have.
Cool. Yeah.
If anybody has some info
all the time, and
cool.
I watch you guys all the time, and to all of you, and keep doing the good work you guys doing.
Thanks,
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you for calling, and thank you for the recommendation.
Alrighty, be safe.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So kind of to piggyback off of that, it is kind of interesting. I see this a lot. Somebody will say in like a Facebook group, they're like, man, I just got these speakers. I wish somebody would review them. I'm thinking, you know, if you like them, then you don't need I mean, you know what I'm saying? To me, the review is for when you don't have the option to hear something. And like, you know, we've got a guy in the chat room that says, hey, I don't have access to those. I don't have access to get speakers to hear them and to demo them. So I rely on your opinions. I rely on your, you know, what you're seeing and experiencing with speakers. But I just always find that kind of interesting when somebody says, hey, you should review them.
You know, I think it's just that a lot of times somebody will find something that they think is awesome and they want to share it with others. So
yeah.
Hello?
By the way, hey, you're on the air. What's going on?
Oh, finally.
Who is this? Who is this?
It's Frederick.
Hey, Frederick, what's up, man?
Subscriber. Yeah, I'm subscriber to all you guys.
Woo! Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Who do you like? Who do you like the best? I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. What's your question, man?
That's subjective. That's subjective.
It is. What's your question for it?
Well, it's probably for everyone. I tried to reach out to Ron, but it's probably everyone's busy with, you know, everything that's going on right now. So my question is, I've been a car audio guy for 30 years, and my background is specialized car audio. When I was in the Philippines, I was an installer, a tuner, and a shop owner.
Oh, wow.
Now that we migrated here in the U.S., so I wasn't able to work on the same field. Now I'm just doing all DIY audio and all my hi-fi stuff. So I've been concentrating on that. And just this past few weeks, I've had the dilemma of figuring out what kind of AV receiver I want to use. I've been a few years ago, like 5 years ago, I've been exposed to a lot of Marantz, because in the Philippines, our distributor for Focal and Marantz are the same people.
Gotcha.
And now I've been lost looking at all the options. There's so many channels now. It's really confusing.
Yeah.
Now, I saw some stereo receivers that take HDMI, like the Marantz and the Denon. But I'm open to getting more channels too. But the main question is, which one of these receivers can I use also for sound quality in, say, a two-way scenario?
Sure.
That's the one thing that scares me, that I buy even a higher end, say, AV receiver, and I wouldn't be happy with the sound quality of it being how do you say that, revealing, or say detailed, or say a bit warm, all that hi-fi stuff. I mean, just, I'm not saying going extreme hi-fi, but just say in the middle.
What's the budget too?
I want
approximately.
Well, let's say 1,500 the most.
Okay.
Like that.
That's a nice budget.
Yeah. So I don't mind less channels.
Because
I was looking at the 2-channel Marantz and the 2-channel Denon, but I figured out maybe you guys can recommend something with more channels, just so if I move to a different house, I can use it to expand the home theater with it. Yeah. So that's basically the dilemma. Because I've been looking at facts over reviews and stuff. Nobody talks about sound quality when it comes to AV receiver. It's mostly power. Can it drive these speakers?
Yeah, what features it has, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yes, correct. Yeah. But nobody defining hey, this is extremely detailed. This is, all you get from say a hi-fi review.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear
well,
that.
I think it's kind of hard to say something like that.
Yeah.
Because also you have to think about what speakers you're pairing those with. So
correct.
If you have some really efficient speakers, some not so efficient speakers, then you're going to have a difference in perceived loudness or output.
Correct.
In which case,
but
are you going to be?
But do most of them? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. It's all you. Go for it.
I mean, but do most of them would give you the same amount of detail that you get from, say, an integrated amp from, say, a mid-end integrated amp? Would you get the same sound quality or detail that you get from those from an AV receiver?
I want to jump in and real quick just say that, Chana, I know that you use a Parasound power amp, and you also use Denon on the front end. So you kind of have experience with, listening to something with the Denon directly or Marantz directly versus, listening to it through the Denon as a preamp going into the Parasound, right? And so, you've had experiences with different stuff.
So basically, for a 2-channel setup, when the AVR says it's rated at 110 watts per channel with 2 channels driven, it's probably putting out that much. In a 5-channel, 7-channel, 9-channel, 11-channel, it's not putting out that much.
Not even close.
Not not nearly as close. So if you're worried about longevity of the receiver, if you're worried about sound quality, and I think at least a lot of today's sound quality depends on the digital to analog converter in these things, since a lot of stuff is streaming. Unless, a lot of these things do have, phono input, phono stage if you have a turntable. You mentioned Marantz, and I think the Marantz SR6014, the SR6014, That's a
Yeah.
good one in the like $1,400-$1,500 price range, where it'll process 11 channels, it'll power 9, so you have room to grow. It has all the new
Pre-outs.
yeah, and it has pre-outs, and it also has I wouldn't call it a pre-in, but it has a 7.2 channel input as well. So if you have like a hi-fi disc player like the Oppo UDP 205 that has 7.2 output, pre-out, you know, that'll go feed right into the Marantz. And that's one of the things that Marantz and Denon are different. Even they're under the same Sound United umbrella. They have the same looking menus, same layout on the back. The Marantz has that 7-channel input, which the Denons don't have. And then, of course, if you know you are running 5 channels or 7 channels or 9 channels for Atmos or whatever you get into down the road, having the pre-out is awesome, because then you can add a 5-channel amplifier like I do. I power my ear level speakers with a really high current amplifier, 5-channel amplifier, so that I know that each of those speakers are getting 250 watts all the time. And it's a complete overkill, and I love it.
I've seen the like crazy expensive AV receiver, like an Arcam, or I think the higher end of Anthem.
Like
I'm not so like
Anthem audio control. All those things are.
I mean, do they, aside from giving you, say, a much cleaner power, is there a sound difference that you would hear?
Yes. So what you're talking about depends on the AVR's room correction. Okay. The room correction in Anthem room correction and Dirac Live, which you'll find in the very, very high end stuff, those are on another level. And then you get even to a bigger level when you go to like the Trinov stuff that's got like 32 channel processing, just retarded amount of stuff going on with that. And of course, the setup on those machines is also more intensive.
So how about if you were to run a pure direct on all of them, though? Do you think you'd be able to hear a difference? No processing whatsoever. Just straight up amplifier versus amplifier.
That's a good question. Yeah.
So
if you put it in, say, direct to reflect just the sound in, say, just a 2-channel, would you hear a tonal difference?
That depends on the listener. That depends on the listener, because each amplifier and speaker combination, each amplifier will affect the speaker differently. Some will have a more neutral sound, and the combinations of things. I've heard in the Klipsch forums a lot that Klipsch and Parasound sound great together. You know, some people don't like the way their Yamaha sounded with their Klipsch, but they like the way the Denon sounded with their Klipsch. So it's really a subjective thing. So it's very hard. And like the reason why I think the reason why that information is not out there so much is because it's just too hard to make a blanket statement. This amplifier is neutral sounding with these speakers, you know, and then somebody else hears it and they're like, no, they were too forward sounding.
I totally agree with that. I'm surprised you didn't say Denon X3600. You always recommend that because you can expand it and add, you know, it has pre-out.
Yeah. I mean, it's cheaper than that Marantz, but he mentioned Marantz, and he mentioned that he wants better sound quality, especially for a 2-channel. So that Marantz is like a little like 1 to 1.5 steps higher than that Denon X3600H.
And if he's using 2-channel, he might like that HDAM chip.
Exactly.
The discrete circuitry.
Discrete stuff,
Yeah, I mean, also take a look. Maybe I asked your budget. Double that budget would be what Ron has, the NAD M10, which is an awesome 2-channel setup.
The NAD,
and cool. It has HDMI, and also you may want to take a look if you that's $3,000 somewhere on there. For $2,500 for around 750, I believe they have the NAD D3045, something like that, which is a 2-channel small 2-channel setup with HDMI also. So you have options.
So, I forgot to ask Ron if the NAD has HDMI.
It does HDMI and ARC. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank
Super
you,
cool.
guys. You
Yeah,
guys
no
stay
problem, man.
safe.
All
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in.
Appreciate the answer.
And you're from the Philippines, so I better be your favorite.
Wow. Why do you want to do that?
Yeah,
dude?
just
Hey,
kidding.
Joe. I didn't know that you were Filipino.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Joe claims.
What's going on over here?
I didn't.
Come
I,
on.
I didn't know. He looks Spanish.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
I'm gonna let you know this. There was a guy that called in from Canada last week, and he said the same
All right.
thing.
Wait. Thanks for calling, man.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
Take care, man.
Oh goodness,
That
man.
was great.
I think that'll be the last call for today.
Yeah.
Here's a quick question. It's kind of a question. Somebody was talking about variable ohms on like the Martin Logans. I just figured it'd be easier to talk about it than it would be to try to type that out. Most speakers have like a variable, like a nominal rating.
Nominal
So,
impedance. Yeah.
which basically, hang on a second, I'm about to cough. It's basically saying, okay, it's going to average there, but just realize that there's no speaker that's going to always play, like at 8 ohms. I mean, basically when you hook up, say for instance, an amplifier and you're cranking, some really low bass frequencies, it's going to drop the impedance load on the, so for example, like I know the RF73s for the Klipsch, they're 8 ohm nominal, but they'll get down to about 2.6 ohms. And so it's requiring a lot of power from your amplifier. So, but they were just kind of wondering, do you see the comment there, guys?
Which one?
No, do you have a timestamp or no?
Nah.
So I know when you go to the Martin Logan website here, let's go there.
Yeah, Dan Donna.
They do something that kind of is a little bit confusing.
Yeah, he said it's compatible. It's compatible
Yeah.
with 4, 6, or 8 ohm rated amplifiers. Well, the reality is, like I said, you've got a nominal impedance, so that's going to change.
So let's just go to, here we go. Boom.
Man.
You guys are seeing this, right? Yeah. Okay. So if we go into specs here, specs/literature, here's where it's confusing. It's a 6 ohm speaker compatible with 4, 6, or 8 ohm rated amplifiers.
Right.
Okay. So that I'm not sure if that's really the main thing, but that can be confusing because even I was like, why do they put that there?
Right.
Like if I didn't know much about ohms, I'd be like, what? I don't know.
Well, I think what they're trying to say is like they don't want somebody buying or looking at an amplifier and go, well, my amplifier says it's rated at 4 ohms, so therefore I can't buy the Martin Logan speakers because they don't match. So I think they're just trying to say, hey, look, we'll play with just about anything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just trying to avoid the confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron, you have one more question, right? I don't know if you saw it over there, but they were asking about the Adantes. They said, Wonderboy asked, are the Adantes long gone and how are the debut reference so far?
Yeah, so Adantes are long gone. I think there was another question that we missed that somebody kept asking, which was basically why? Why is that? And the reality is we don't know. We don't have that kind of inside information. I don't know if it was a marketing thing or they just, who knows? We'd be guessing, so let's not guess. Adantes are gone, and the debut reference so far, I got the floor standers, which is kind of fun to be able to review. They're excellent. I'm totally digging them. Really nice sounding loudspeaker for sure. So
I have the bookshelves and the center channel. Once I'm done with the Klipsch K horns, I'm gonna rock the front stage. See how that's gonna roll.
Nice. Hey, we're over on time, guys.
Yeah,
but I
I'm
hope
ready
you
to
guys.
eat dinner.
Yeah, I'm ready to go do some stuff too. So I hope all of you guys enjoyed this episode. Every Monday, we make it happen.
Hey, Chana, do you have the link to the Hi-Fi Summit? Maybe we can throw that up at the end for these guys. I know that was a question that popped up.
Yeah, you guys are gonna see a lot of that. Right now, it's just the countdown, but it'll be opened up in the next few days. So keep checking.
We'll ramp it up. Yeah.
Keep checking back.
Yeah, there. I just dropped it in the chat. Actually, let's do it for all destinations, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Hi-Fi Summit. Boom.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us. Definitely appreciate everybody. Stay safe.
Definitely.
Stay safe, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the Daily Hi-Fi podcast. On behalf of New Record Day, Joentell, Youth Man. My name is Chana, the Techno Dad. We'll see you guys next Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. As always, keep listening.
He did not go there, man. Oh,
I didn't even know what I was going to say, and then all of a sudden, there it is. See you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.